So what do you get if you combine the skin of a rhino, the loyalty of a cat, the survivability of a cockroach, and the charisma of a blobfish? Yep, our Prime Minister. Honestly, I have lost count of the number of scandals that this guy has been involved with, and he's still standing. Thick-skinned, constantly flip-flopping, yo-yoing from one side to another, no clear positions on anything other than his Fabian pals, Lord Hermer, and scrolling right on all of these Ukrainian male models. But jokes aside, about 6 weeks ago, I wrote a letter, and I asked him, in all respect and, just out of clear conscience, to stand down. And then I asked you guys if you could read through it, and if you agreed with it, sign it. So 846 of you did, and I'm looking at the results in front of me. Thank you so much for doing that. And now I understand that some of you might say, oh, that's quite a small number, but that wasn't really ever the point. What I wanted to demonstrate was two things. First, the level of apathy that exists in this country right now. So many people, and I saw it in all of the comments, they feel, what's the point? It's not going to do anything. It's not going to change anything. Yeah, it's the same reason why less than 50% of people in this country go out to vote in any of the elections. Now, if you think about it, that 50% that doesn't vote, if you all did vote and voted for whatever you want, then you'd probably get it. And then the second point is completely the opposite to that. We must never, ever, ever, ever give up hope that we, an individual or a group, can change the world. Because the truth is this, we are the people. We are the ones that hold all of the power. But we've not been unified for so long. For decades, we've been divided into tribes, left and right, race against race, class against class, religion against religion, while all the way along a so-called group of elites, or traitors as I prefer to call them, manipulate us, fill us with fear, and keep us divided and impotent. Look around at the world today. We're told, that there's no money for hospitals, no money for housing, no money for any of the things that ordinary people need. But somehow there's always money for war. We're told all of these comforting narratives about the world that they just don't stand up to scrutiny, and anyone who questions them is made to feel fearful, ridiculed, or told to keep quiet. Well, I'm not bothered about keeping quiet, so I'm going to post that letter, and I was going to post it anyway, even if it was just from me. So for the other people that have signed it, thank you. And for everyone else, I do understand the reasons why you've not signed it. You may have just thought, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to get involved. But I was always going to send that, even if it was just from me. Because I know full well that it probably won't change anything. He probably won't get to see it. And even if he did, he'd be like, yeah, shut up, dickhead. I know, though, that on top of that, I'm putting myself at risk. Because potentially one day the thought police might come and knock on my door, for me saying what I believe. But I came to terms with that when I set up Nation of Sleepers, because, it's quite obvious in the news that they do try and target people like us, that have the thoughts that we do. All of us. There's so many of us. But I have a duty. I have a moral level of courage which requires me to stand up and be counted and not keep my head down. My responsibility is to do everything that I can to leave this world and this country in a best position possible for my children and their children before I eventually depart from this realm and kind of have to leave them to it. And if posting this letter is one small step to doing that, and I can look myself in the mirror and say, you know what, you did the right thing, then I'll gladly take that and anything that comes from that. Believe in the power of yourselves.